Paul and Jo Marsh, nice to see you both again.
Thank you.
Thank you very
Nice
much.
to be here.
Absolutely, and we've been promising the woman in overlanding segment, and here we are with lovely Jo Marsh, Paul's new wife. How's it going?
Wonderful. Wonderful. Thank you.
Absolutely, a lot to get into. A lot of women get sort of, a lot of wives new into overlanding. What sort of advice would you give to people?
I think first off, women should see it as an adventure and not something that they're doing with their husbands. It's a new way of experiencing the world and experiencing life, because women very often are caught up in the domesticity, and a lot of them are corporate, working, then you come home and you're working because it's kids and home and cooking and all of that stuff. But it's a way to unplug, disconnect from the world of to-dos and all the lists and all the obligations and responsibilities, and to plug back into each other, I suppose literally and figuratively, I don't know.
It happens.
It happens. Luckiness for the boys. But it's a way of both unplugging from technology and life. It's a way of connecting back to each other, discovering different things about each other, and maybe bringing more out in each other. It's more than just the trip. The trip is the vehicle to connect with yourself through nature. So you connect back into yourself, you just slow down, because the world out there when you're on overland expedition does slow down, and connect in a different way. You find different interests, and you actually find your way back to yourself and to each other. And it's restorative, it's rejuvenating, it builds different memories, and it just builds such a strong bond that when you come back to the madness, you've got that to hold on to, because now you're planning the next one, because you know you in that bubble that we create when we're out there. It's that safe, happy place, and that keeps you charged when you come back here, when your body parts are like spread all over the place, because everybody needs a different part of you. But you hold on because you think, how do I get back to the bubble? We plan the next one. And that kind of keeps you sane, keeps you balanced, keeps you happy, because you've got that thing that keeps you together, when life here keeps you out there. Out there, when you're out there, it keeps you back in here, if I'm making any sense.
And can we start at the beginning, please? How did you meet Paul? And let's start about your love for overlanding.
Yes, share the truth.
So, Paul and I met over 10 years ago, mutual friends. We were both married at the time, and Paul was living in the UK and I was living here. But we just found a connection through nature, overland, and I think spiritual way of being, and the
Just
quality
a
of
connection
life.
between us, really. I think, sometimes you meet people and when you meet them that you're almost like you've been before, if you want to accept that. And although Jo and I respected, we were both married, and we were never going to cross those boundaries. But the value in knowing that you've met a soulmate, you've heard that term before, and I think I met my soulmate 10 years ago.
And there was so we were friends, and we just knew that Paul was on another continent. We both were committed to our relationships, but there was a friendship, and the friendship carried us through all the years of what we both experienced, gladly and sadly. And ultimately, we had to learn a whole bunch about ourselves and life, and the connection was never lost. And through the highs and lows of both our separate lives. And then when Paul came back to Cape Town, again, the friendship, just continued. And then I walked away from my relationship. And then a while later, about a year later, Paul walked away from his. But the friendship was that was our foundation.
Things flow, I always believe in life. When something's flowing, it really goes and you feel it. And when you know you've met someone in your life that's significant, and then the synchronicity of everything sort of happening to allow your lives to sort of move forward together, was amazing. It's like what happens in nature. We don't quite go back to nature always to learn the lessons we should, but certainly we knew that the life we could have and wanted to have was now available to us. And we grabbed it with both hands and said, well, why not? You know.
And it was just incredible. It was like the universe was speaking, because we started our relationship formally as a couple, and literally things just fell into place. And before I knew it, I was in Cape Town. I've always wanted to live at the sea, so double bonus. And my passion was to get to know Paul's world. I knew Paul here, but I wanted to know his world. So when I'm not just in 10%, 50%, 150%, 200%. So right, let's go on a rally, let's go on. So I just jumped in and wanted to go and experience all these things, because that's part of knowing him and how I can be that other better half for him.
But also Jo's own story is deep in nature, and you've worked with amazing programs with wild animals. I mean, share a bit about that, because Jo has a passion for the wildlife. I guess that's one of the values we share, and I think we really realized that our values were synchronized in a way which has allowed us to build a beautiful foundation and a very strong relationship. And your background in what Jo's done, not just the work she does, but who she is and what the experience is.
So animals have been my go-to place from little, starting with dogs, and at nature, being outside, being in the sunshine, being at the ocean has been my soul food. I just come alive when I'm at the ocean. So dolphins have always been my happy place, and I've swum with dolphins around the world. Very blessed to be able to, and Angie Gullen is somebody I know personally in Mozambique, who is the mother of dolphins in Pontedora, and there's an amazing story there. And she was my entree. And then I've swum with them in the Bahamas at a yoga dolphin retreat. And I've been into some of the rescue centers. And they're supreme beings. So that, and then I spent my whole career is a bit eclectic till where it brought me now. And then when I was working at CC Africa, which is called And Beyond now, and when the Vatis brought the tigers out from Canada to start the breeding program because they were becoming extinct, I had the privilege of experiencing that. So nature is very close to my heart, and it's obviously another thing that keeps,
I think it's about sharing. It's about sharing with people, and many of the clients that I get to meet, and I meet the couple, and it's as important that both people feel ready to go on the expedition. It's a team effort, and Jo and I live that. We've done expeditions together. We've driven up to Tanzania. We've driven on many expeditions together, and because of Jo's work in the people world and what she does and understands, and the work she's done. And you just need to go and look on her website at jomarsh.co.za and just have a look-see at what this amazing woman has done in her life to bring value to people in her own way and work. And I've looked at that and thought, well, there's such value in overland expedition travel. It's not just about the vehicle. I'm very clear about that. It's about a value system. It's about us changing the way we do things. It's about highlighting what we can take our families and an experience. So when it's families you're dealing with, people want to share that experience. And in all the work that we all do, we are very distracted in our work, and our energy is pulled all over the place. So to be able to take your time and your energy and go back and immerse yourself in nature, and be able to go and spend that quality time where you are not distracted and you can sit down and have a good, meaningful conversation. And when we share that, and I share it, and Jo speaks and works with her clients, it's about taking people back on that inner journey through an outdoor experience.
So it's about the truck. That's
a great strap on the inner journey through the outdoor experience.
Yeah, we're very passionate about that.
And where we then built, because we in our vision, we've got this triangle, and it's about, it all starts with the truck. So people say, Paul Marsh, the guru, which he is, build me a truck. Okay, so then the truck's taking you where? Okay, then there's the trip, and then in our journey together, I said to Paul, but what about what memory do they want? So the boys come in with a truck and a trip, and then the wife, and Paul says, no, the wife in on the deal, because you want her support, she needs to enjoy it, because she can either hold you back or take you forward. So then it's about building the memory, and how do you do that? So now you bring them both together, and it's about encouraging the two to understand the benefit that they will reap on so many levels. It's enriching on so many levels.
And understanding
taking the fear factor out.
Concerns, yeah, exactly that. So for most people, there's a concern, and one of my questions I like to ask people, both the husband and wife, or whatever the couple is, and ask them clearly, what are your concerns? What's going to stop you from doing this, or what would you need to enhance, be it through more information, be it through more training, to build that confidence so that you feel absolutely confident to go out and tackle this experience in a way that works for you.
But it's not only at a practical level, because some women will say, go to the loo in the bush.
That's the first thing Paul said.
Well, I mean, you've got to hold me back not to go to the
Oh God. Yeah.
So there's the very practical part, and that's easy, and Paul does that so well. What has interested me is, okay, so you live together in a house, you've got kids, and you live with each other, past each other, around each other. Now you confined into this space for an extended period of time. What do you talk about? What do you agree on? What do you disagree on? What are your expectations? What are your hopes? What are your dreams? What are your fears? Get into the trenches. Do the thing, because that's where the memories are. And it's like, got to know this. Wow, could almost fall in love with each other all over again.
And it does. It's like another chapter. And I say to people are either coming to retire, or they're taking some valuable time out of their lives to go and do something. It might be a 2-week trip. It might be much longer. And when you're investing that time and that energy into something, you really want to return. And the return needs to be more than getting in your car and driving it. That has value. Seeing what you see has value. But if you can add a value, a dimension to that value, where the two of you, or the family, or the group, come away with a unique experience, and you capture that experience for the memories, money can't add value to that. You can't put enough money on the table to buy that experience.
It's about a mindful trip in a meaningful way that gathers memories.
It seems to be all about memories. You cannot put a price on good memories.
No, but what do we live for? I think when we look back on COVID-19 and how it's actually focused us to look more at ourselves, to look more at our situations, to look more at our environment, we're going to go away looking at how we focus on our own lives differently. One of the ways to focus on your own lives differently, take that experience, as being able to get out. Now, we've been restricted from getting out. So people now, as we're opening up slowly, it's been amazing, because now the borders between the provinces are not yet open, and hopefully they'll open soon. So people are now being allowed to travel within their area. Explore around you. Explore your own backyard. Now explore in your own country. And now you can start exploring further. But in doing so, we're exploring ourselves as well. Hey?
And take the whole COVID circus as an opportunity to reset. Not focusing on it, because it's done. There's nothing we can control about that, but what are we going to do with it? And that's one of our philosophies, is we don't dwell on what is and what was. It's about what's there to learn from that. And what's to learn is reset, reevaluate. What's important? What do we want to do with what we now know? What do we want more of? What do we want less of? And what do we want no more of? Who do you want to be with? Who do you not want to be with?